everyone and welcome back to Studeye. Today we are going to learn that how can you know that what is the power of any person at the intermediate distance, right? So when we are viewing any object, there are basically three distance considered, right? So first distance is the distant or far object or far. If we are viewing something far, and that distance is basically 6 or more than 6 meters, right? So if you are viewing any object at the distance of 6 meters or more, that is the far object or far distance, and the power which we are going to correct for that specific distance is the distant power or the far power, right? While we are talking about the second distances, which we all know is the near distance, right? So near distance is approximately 25 to 35 centimeters, or it is approximately considered as 40 centimeter, right? So there are two distances normally if it's a person, right? So if he is viewing something or reading something, that distance is the near distance, and which is basically up to 40 centimeters. While if you are viewing something at a distance of 6 meters or more, that is the distant um, object, and the power you are giving to the patient for 6 meters or more is the distance power. However, the power you are giving for a person or to a person to view the near object is the near power. But in between the 6 meters and 40 centimeters, in between 6 meters and 40 centimeters, there is one more distance, which is the intermediate distance, right? So we have basic three distances, and at all these three distances our eye power is different, right? We need more accommodation or more power while we are viewing the near object. We need less power as compared to the near when we are, or there is almost relaxed accommodation when we are viewing anything that is at the distance of 6 meter or more. And if you consider someone who is working in an office, so while he is reading some documents, that will be the near distance, right? While he is viewing something outside the window, it will be his distant image or distant focus. But while he is using a laptop, right, while that person is using the laptop, neither the distance is 35 or 40 centimeter, nor it is a 6 meters. It is between 40 to 6 meters. So that distance is considered as the intermediate distance. So basically we are giving three powers in the glasses mostly. If a patient is having both problems, if patient is having the problem at distance and the problem at near, then we used to give the intermediate power as well to patient to use, or to use the glasses. Sometimes in bifocal, what we give is basically in bifocal we give distant power and near power. But when we are talking about trifocal lenses, there are distance, intermediate and near power. So how you can calculate this intermediate power? We can calculate the near power using the refraction, we can calculate the distance power using the subjective refraction. But how, or what is a way to calculate the intermediate distance power, right? So intermediate distance power is very important as well, because we as a human look or focus at different distances, right? So therefore, if a patient is using any near glasses or he is using any distant glasses, he or she might have problem in various distances, right? Okay, so we are talking about generally here about the power or we are discussing that how can the power for the intermediate distance can be calculated, right? So at this time I'm just here to tell you that what are the distances. It was just all for your general information or understanding that there are basic three distances and power may vary at different distances. The power of the eye varies at different distances. So for example, I am a patient and for me the power of, while I am viewing something near, because I am a young person, I am an adult, so what happens over here is that my accommodation is working. So my accommodation is acting 2.5 more than the normal power of the eye or normal power of the lens, and it is helping me to see the near object. But when I'm using some laptop or doing some work that is more 40 centimeter and it's not neither 6 meters, it's between 40 to 6 meters, right? At that time this is the intermediate distance and my power of the eye is different as compared to the one which was at near distant, right? However, when I'm viewing something at a very distant, I'm looking or viewing something more than 6 meters or at 6 meters, what is happening that my accommodation is not zero but it's minimum at that point. And when it's minimum, the power of the eye is supposed at distance, my power of the eye is 60 diopters, while I'm viewing the near object, the power of eye is 62 to 63 diopters, while I am viewing the intermediate distance, my power is between 60 to 63, it may be 61 diopters. So it depends on the power of the eye or the ability of the eye to focus, right? However, if a person requires distance and near prescription and he is using trifocal, so we give patient three distances power. So power is at three basic distances: to see the distant object, to see the laptop, to do the near task, right? So how we can calculate the intermediate power at that time? Let's move on to it. So this intermediate distance power is used when we are making a trifocal lens, right? So at three distance we need power. So suppose a patient has a power of +4 at distance and +2 in near. So what will be the intermediate distance power? Remember that if you want to know the power of intermediate distance, you just need to divide or take half of the near power. You just have to divide the near power from the two, or just divide the near power into two halves, and that will be the near power. So what I mean is, to calculate the intermediate distance, intermediate power is calculated by dividing the near power. Here the near power is plus 2 diopters. So here the near power is plus 2 diopters, and you are going to take the half of the near power, which is over here plus 1 diopter sphere. So this plus 1 diopter sphere is the intermediate power for somebody who is using the near power of plus 2 diopters and the distance power of 4 diopters. So the thing that needs to be considered is that if you want to find the power of the intermediate distance, you are just going to take the half of the near power. And if you have the intermediate power, which is very rare, so how you can find the near power? You are just going to divide it with multiply it with the 2, and you're going to do the twice of the intermediate power basically. So here plus 2 will be the near power. This is something additional, right? So the thing I want to tell you is that you can eventually find or calculate the intermediate power by having or just only having the near power. So how do you think, have you ever thought that when you are going or you are giving the dispenser the glasses, or if the dispenser is making a trifocal glasses with only the near and distance power, how is he calculating the intermediate power for that intermediate portion? So it is this is the method, or this is the way that he just divide the near power with the 2 and he gets the intermediate power, right? So this is a way, if somebody is going to dispense the glasses and he wants to know that how the intermediate distance power is calculated. So this is a method that you just need the near power and divide the near power with the 2 and you'll get the intermediate power. So I hope it helps, right?